So when I first started my channel, I think I had like 300 or 400 subscribers. I don't remember. I got an email from my first collaboration. It was a house that I almost ignored the email because I never heard of them. They're called Zoha Aroma, based out of Canada. And apparently they do inspired by concoctions like clones, as well as some of their own originals and some original batch oils like Aventus original batch. And so I was kind of interested about it. So they sent me a clone, I believe, of Leighton, one of Ombre Nomade, which from Louis Vuitton, that I don't like Ombre Nomade, so obviously I didn't like that one, but I did give it away to somebody who did like it, one of you guys. And then I also had an original Aventus batch oil, which was fantastic. So anyway, a few weeks back, I was looking around the web for an inspired by concoction of one of my favorite fragrances of all time by Tom Ford's Plum Japonais. And wouldn't I know it, but the site Zoha Aroma popped up and they did have an inspired by one. So I reached out to them and say, hey, would you like to get back together again now that I have almost 10,000 subscribers? They were like, sure, why not? So today we're going to be looking at some offerings from Zoha Aroma, looking at their prices, as well as talking about two main ones as well as a few others. And this one is inspired by, again, Tom Ford's Plum Japonais, and it's called Wild Plum. I'm really excited to talk to you guys about that. So yeah, we're doing my review on that. So without further ado, let's get it. What's good, my great smelling dudes? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Randy, aka FragranceDoud, finally back with some consistent content. So yeah, I've been gone, even though I've been technically posting like every other day videos for the last like 3 weeks. As I think the best word for it is I feel disconnected because I haven't been as active myself, like commenting, scent of the day posts, all of that, like on a consistent basis. But now that the family and the teeth and all of that are finally kind of settled down, you're stuck with me because I'm gonna be back doing my live streams. I'm back doing my daily videos, scent of the day post lists, all of that stuff. So yeah, and I meant to do this video about 2 weeks ago, but I ended up having all that stuff going on, so I wore all of these, and so now this is technically a full review for everything. And so I guess that's the better option because you guys probably don't want to see 2 videos about these fragrances. But with that said, again, the house is called Zoha Aroma. Before we get into those fragrances, if you do like my content, make sure to hit the subscribe button if you're not. Also hit the like, takes 2 seconds, and comment below. Let me know if based on my original video or others' videos, if you have tried out this house. I know a few people that did, not a lot, but I know a few people that did. They tried the Leighton clone and the Naxos and Torino 21 clones, and they liked them. Also, the one that I sent the Ombre Nomade clone to really enjoyed it. And the one person that I talked to that tried the Aventus oil, the original batch oil, really enjoyed that as well. So anyway, house is called Zoha Aroma. They are based in Canada. They do inspired by, aka clones, some of their own originals, and then original batch oils, concentrated oils, and that might be one of my favorite parts of them. I don't really like oils that much, but the first time they sent something to me, they sent me a clone of Leighton, which was nice, very nice. They sent me a clone of Aventus, and they sent me a clone of Ombre Nomade, which again, Ombre Nomade I'm not a big fan of, so I knew I wasn't gonna like that. So this is the oil, and if anybody is like me and does not like the original batch, or does not like Aventus nowadays. I prefer Aventus Cologne nowadays. Nowadays, I haven't tried any of the older batches, but since at least 2020, all of the batches of Aventus are more on the woody, musky side. And it's just like ambergris, stuff like that. It's not really my cup of tea. It's not horrible. It's just not my cup of tea. But if you want I heard the older batches had more pineapple. Well, that's what this one does. It has a lot more pineapple in it. That's a lot more noticeable. And my wife does not like Aventus, and she really likes these. So it has this little, if you guys know anything about oils, it has a little dropper, or not a little dropper, like a little stick that you can rub on your wrist or neck. And if you're not an oil person, they do have that same exact scent in a spray. It's called Napoleon, and they run between like $15 and $38 depending on the size that you're getting. But I'm telling you, I love this, and I don't like Aventus. I said that anybody who wants to try like a closer to the original batch, from what I'm hearing, or at least a more pineapple heavy version of Aventus, this is better than any of the clones that I've ever tried. This oil right here, or even that spray. The oil is a little bit more concentrated, so you get a little bit more of the pineapple, but still the spray is very, very nice as well. But we're not talking about those today. We're talking about the two clones that I got. This is called Wild Plum, which is really what spawned this video, because again, I was looking up Tom Ford's Plum Japonais clone, inspired by. I actually typed in, I think, inspired by, and Zoha Aroma was the third thing on the list, and so I was like, you know what, I'm going to reach out. So if you don't know what Plum Japonais is, it's Tom Ford's discontinued fragrance that I really hope they bring back. It's more like on the darker woody plum, obviously Plum Japonais. It had a little bit of a boozy tone. It was more of like a darker, like oudi plum, and I very, very much like that fragrance. One of my favorite fragrances of all time. And the other one is a clone of Afternoon Swim, which I said to myself, that fragrance is really nice, but I'll never buy $320 for Afternoon Swim. It's just not worth it. So I tried this one out, which I have tried Sunset Swim. That one's also really nice, not by this house, but a different house altogether. And I'm going to let you guys know which one is the better option. So we'll start with, I guess we'll start with this one then. So I want to get to the best one last, even though both of these are really good. They also have fragrances like clones of Torino 21, Xerjoff Naxos, a bunch of other fragrances if you want to see. And again, they're like $38 and they come from Canada. So the note breakdown. So this is the 50 milliliter, and they also have the smaller version. This is the $38 one. This is $15, I believe. They have the note breakdowns on the side, and then you have a atomizer, which it's actually pressurized, so it's pretty nice. But for Ocean Whispers, aka their clone of Afternoon Swim, the notes are mandarin orange, bergamot, ginger, and ambergris, which there is a full note breakdown online. But really with the Afternoon Swim, if you have a condensed note breakdown, that's pretty much all you need, because the fragrance is not something that has like a plethora of different facets to it. It's a very simplistic, linear fragrance from top to bottom, Louis Vuitton or the clone. So it's an orange-based fragrance, an orange musky fragrance based on the original, and this one does the same. I have tried a few other ones. I've tried this one. It was like an attar of it, and it wasn't very good. It had like a vegetable oily smell. I've tried that Sunset Swim, and it's nice, definitely nice, but this one is the one that gets it the closest. I would say Sunset Swim gets it like 85% correct. This is about 90% correct. You can still tell of the highest quality one is obviously the Louis Vuitton, but even so, Afternoon Swim never comes off to me as the highest quality Louis Vuitton. It's always been more like bogged down. It's a great smelling fragrance. It's just, you can't really do much with that fragrance, like as far as the notes, to make it smell way more high quality. Well, this one, I mean, it gets it there. It gets that quality. It gets everything. It's not as high quality as the original Louis Vuitton, but it's better than the Sunset Swim. Right off the top, you don't get any harshness or any of that vegetable oily smell that you get from some of the clones of Afternoon Swim. This one, right off the top, you get that mandarin orange, you get that musk, and it is bright, it's fresh, it's zingy, it's just really, really freaking good. You get a little bit of this green tinge from that bergamot. It's a green bergamot. And then as you get to the dry down, you have that ambergris pulling in, but it's really neither here or there. I mean, it gives a little baby bit of earthiness, but even in the original Afternoon Swim, it just kind of comes off as like a dusty undertone. And that's what it does with this one. What you're really looking at is it's going to be an orange, musky, dominant fragrance, and this one gets really good. I'm not going to talk much more about that, because if I'm just going to say, out of 10, as far as comparing this to the original Afternoon Swim, I would say that this one is 100 out of 100 times the better pickup. Even though the bottle's not sexy and you're not going to have that, like, that visual appeal on your shelf like you do with the Louis Vuitton, it doesn't matter. This one is great. Pick this or Sunset Swim, it doesn't really matter. But based on the fact that I tried Leighton, their Aventus clone, their Ombre Nomade, which smelled like the Ombre Nomade, it just wasn't for me. All of the clones so far are just so fantastic. And the thing is with Afternoon Swim, I get about 4 hours. And with this one, I get about 6 to 7, which is actually really, really good for this style of fragrance. So that's what I noticed with all of these Zoha Aromas, is that the way that they concoct it together, their oils are a little bit denser, which make it push out a bit more and last a bit longer. So yeah, I mean, it's not like a crazy amount longer, but for this style of fragrance, it is. And now going into the other one. So that one, again, Afternoon Swim, it's more of like our Ocean Whispers, the clone of Afternoon Swim. It's probably considered like a spring and summer fragrance, but I feel like you could wear it into the fall as well. Now going into the one that I wanted to talk about. This is Wild Plum. Wild Plum, clone of Tom Ford's Plum Japonais, and it's exactly what I was looking for. So then if you don't know what Plum Japonais is, again, I'll give you the notes that they have here, which actually do make sense because it reminds me exactly of the note breakdown that you got with Tom Ford's, just again a little bit more condensed. Cinnamon, plum, saffron, plum blossom, liquor, oud, and amber. So Plum Japonais was an ambery, woody, fruity fragrance. It was a little bit darker, had some booze underneath there, and then as the spice, you had that cinnamon and saffron. And that is exactly what it does here. The original Plum Japonais had a little bit of the smokiness coming from the woods. This one doesn't necessarily have that, but I did spray it on my hand right before the video. I can say this is everything that Plum Japonais was, just minus a little bit of the quality. So the quality is still very much on par with clones that are out there, just maybe a little bit higher than the other clones. It's at least what it seems. It's very well blended, and it even transitions into that dry down that you get with Plum Japonais. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, where it gets a little bit darker, a little bit more woody. It has that undertone creamy sweetness, and that's exactly what you get with this. When it first does open up, you do get that nice, dark, warm plum. There's no mistaking it. It's a fall and winter scent right across the board. It is fan-freaking-tastic. If you're looking for something, because I hope that Tom Ford really does up the ante and bring back Tom Ford's Plum Japonais, just like they've been bringing back a lot of other things, and I'm hoping they're just waiting until like the fall and winter to bring it out. That would be my ultimate goal, because it is my favorite Tom Ford of all time. It's not going to be for everybody. If you haven't tried it, it's definitely worth getting something like this. I have tried only one other Tom Ford Plum Japonais clone, and it did not do it right. It didn't have that thickness. It was a little bit too sweet. It didn't have that spiciness and that blend of the fruits in the woods, and this one does that. So that plum, again, it's a warm plum. It kind of reminds me, it's like 80% Plum Japonais if you mix together plum and cognac from Scent of Woods. I don't remember that. I always get that name. It's like Scent of Wood or it's Scent of Woods. I can't remember. But it's plum and cognac. And there's like a 20% part of that, because there's a little bit more of this boozy, powdery tone that you get with this one, which comes in that plum and cognac. And that is not as prevalent in Plum Japonais. But I'm really nitpicking here, because if you want something that smelled like Plum Japonais, that is really going to be for those niche extraordinaires. I can't speak today. I'm telling you, I'm like real rusty. But if you're a niche extraordinaire and you want something that has really a lot of facets to it while also maintaining the simplicity, this is it. I mean, if you like the note of plum, which one of my favorite notes out there is plum, you mix that together with another one of my favorite notes, which is what? That is cinnamon. Then you get Plum Japonais. I mean, it's just absolutely fantastic. Not to mention that I love saffron and I like creamy woods, and that's pretty much everything. And in the original Plum Japonais, you also got a little bit of this vanillic tonka feeling, which is still in this one. Not in the note breakdown, but it's definitely there. And so it's dark, it's fruity, it's woody. It is exactly what you want from a Tom Ford Plum Japonais cologne. So I'm telling you guys, I mean, I'm not hyping this house up or anything. Do your best to just try it out. If it's not for you, it's not for you. They do sell, again, 15 milliliter decants and stuff like that on there as well. But if you want to go more on the safe route, I'm telling you, the Aventus oil or Napoleon, which is the Aventus oil in the spray, that is chef kiss. But if you want something that's a little bit more on that hard, like, because again, if you haven't tried Plum Japonais, this might be a little difficult for you, but I still think that it's a fantastic fragrance. I mean, it's very, very, very beautiful. If you like darker fragrances, if you like woods, if you like plum, you're gonna like that fragrance. If you like scent of woods, plum and cognac, you're gonna like that. If you like Tom Ford's Plum Japonais, you're gonna like that. It's high quality, it smells great, and it lasts 10 hours plus. So that's the last thing I'm going to talk about. 10 hours plus, and it projects about 6 feet for the first 2 hours, and then it kind of just pulls back. But every one of these clones, that whoever really is the perfumer up at Zoha Aroma, which I don't really have any idea, they do a really good job at these. I'm really interested. I want to try, next is going to be Naxos and Torino 21. I want to compare them to the originals. That's the one thing, is I've tried the Leighton versus Leighton, and it does a really good job while dialing down that mint a bit. And all the other ones I haven't been able to compare to the originals because I just ran out of my last 2 milliliters of Plum Japonais 6 months ago. So I want to get something to compare to the original. And so I think the next one's going to be Torino 21. But anyway, let me know if you guys are interested in this house. I will put the link in the description. I don't have any affiliate or anything like that. But yeah, really, really, really nice fragrances. I'm really happy I got this. It's going to be something I'm going to wear all fall and winter long. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back with another one. Peace out.